Today, I'm going to help you learn from my relocation mistakes and tell you the top 5 questions you need to be asking yourself before you relocate to Salem, Oregon. My name is Clarity Odd, and I'm a local real estate broker here in Salem who specializes in relocations. And just like you, I relocated to Salem, and now I get to make videos about this amazing city for you, my future clients. If you want to work with us in the home buying process, go down to the description of this video where you're going to find all of our contact information. Reach out so that we can help you. The last question on the list is by far the most important question of all. I really want this video to be interactive, so as I'm asking these questions in this video, I want you to write down your answers on a piece of paper. Feel free to pause the video at any time to write down the details. Question number 1. What style of house do you want? Do you want a new construction home? Do you want a historic home? Do you want a mid-century home? Do you want a cookie cutter home? Or maybe those things don't matter at all. The way that Salem is situated is very specific. If you're wanting a new construction home, there are only going to be a handful of neighborhoods that have new construction homes going on, and those neighborhoods are going to be furthest from downtown Salem. If you're wanting a historic home or a mid-century modern home, these houses are typically going to be found closest to downtown Salem. If you're wanting a cookie cutter home, and what I mean by that is nothing bad, it just means that the houses tend to all look very similar and were more recently constructed. Those homes are going to be somewhere in between. You're going to find a lot of cookie cutter homes in Kaiser and Northeast Salem, but also in very specific parts of South Salem. If your number 1 priority in your home search is finding a home of a specific style, that question in itself is going to dictate where exactly you're going to be looking for properties. And although Salem is not the biggest city ever, it is very specific in regards to home styles as it relates to neighborhoods and different sections of town. If you haven't already, take a moment to pause the video and write down what style of home, if any, you're wanting. Again, it could be the most important thing in your home search, or you might not care at all. Whatever your answer is, write it down on a piece of paper or add it to the comments. Question number 2 is, what level of commutability do you need? Are you needing a home that's within 5 minutes of I-5? Or do you need a home that's really close to downtown Salem because that's where you're going to be working? Depending on what kind of commutability you need and how long or short you want your commute to be, this in itself is going to help us better understand which neighborhood is going to be best for you based on your commutability. If you look at a map here, the way that Salem is positioned is that the city is flanked by the Willamette River to the west, and to the east we have I-5. But what I want you to pay attention to is that I-5 does not cut directly through the city of Salem. It stays on the periphery on the east side of town, and as you can see here, when you go deeper into South Salem, some of these neighborhoods actually get further from I-5. If you don't depend on I-5 for commuting for work, maybe you work in downtown Salem or even at home, then this might not be that big of a deal for you. If you haven't already done so, write down what level of commutability you need. If you're enjoying this video so far, give it a thumbs up and go down to the comments and tell me if having easy access to I-5 is going to be a priority for you. Question number 3. What level of walkability do you want in your new house and neighborhood? Is it really important for you to be able to walk to downtown Salem? Or is it important for you to be able to have your kiddos walk to school? Perhaps you really don't care about walkability for your neighborhood and you're comfortable being car dependent. If you're wanting a neighborhood that is very walkable to downtown Salem, there are only going to be a handful of neighborhoods that will provide you with that style of life and a high walkability score. If you don't want or need walkability to downtown Salem or walk to your local grocery store and you're comfortable with the idea of driving everywhere, then different neighborhoods are going to suit you. Overall, I feel like Salem is a very car-dependent city, but for my friends who are like me and enjoy the idea of opening up your front door and walking to downtown to grab a quick cocktail with your handsome husband, you're going to find that Salem can be walkable in that way, but you're also going to have to physically be close to downtown to elicit that lifestyle. If you haven't done so already, pause the video and write down what level of walkability you want from your new home. Question number 4 is, what school district do you need to be in? The Kaiser-Salem School District boundary lines do change slightly every year, so it's important that you define exactly what school district you're wanting and then confirming with the school directly. Generally speaking, if you're on the north side of downtown Salem, you're going to fall into one specific school district. And if you're on the south side of Salem, you're going to fall into another. And if you're on the west side of Salem, you're going to fall into a completely different one than either of those other two. If you haven't already paused the video, go do that now and write down how important the school district boundary lines are to you. Now, I admit I am not the best resource for all things related to schools in Salem. I myself am child-free, and while I do have clients that have kiddos, my expertise lays in the home markets here in Salem and not in the school systems. I don't have any kids that are in the school systems here, so I can't directly speak to that. But what I can do is direct you to a wonderful resource which I've put into the description of this video. It's a website called niche.com, and it actually rates the schools in Salem for you. Before we get to the most important question on this list, I know that this is a lot of information being thrown at you right now, and I have zero expectation that you remember any of this. I know that this process is stressful and overwhelming, so if you forget everything, that's okay. The only thing that I ask is that when you are ready to purchase a home here in Salem, book a one-on-one consultation with me so that we can talk through all of these questions and answers and really figure out what neighborhood is going to suit you best. Question number 5, which is arguably the most important question of all, is budget. Are you a first-time home buyer and looking to get into an entry-level home? Do you have a house to sell and you're going to use some of that equity from the home sale to purchase a bigger or better home? Determining how much house you can afford upfront before you begin looking and touring homes is going to give you a leg up on your competition. Just like with all of the other questions on this list, what your budget is going to dictate the size, the location, and the condition of the homes that you're going to be able to purchase. At the filming of this video, the median purchase price for a detached single-family home in Salem is at $450,000. What that means is, generally speaking, first-time home buyers are going to be looking at entry-level homes that are below that median purchase price of $450,000. That alone is going to dictate a lot of the neighborhoods that are or are not in line with your budget. There are a few neighborhoods around Salem and Kaiser that are more economically feasible than others. Generally speaking, people who have existing equity in their homes or properties are going to be looking for houses that are above that median purchase price in Salem. These homes are most oftentimes found in South and West Salem. No matter if you're needing to sell your house to purchase one at the same time, or you're a first-time home buyer, maybe you're downsizing, or maybe you're even upsizing, no matter your situation, the best way to determine your budget is to speak directly with a local lender. This question is by far the most important on the list and will have the largest impact on where exactly you look for a home here in Salem. If you haven't already established a budget by chatting with a local lender here in Salem, I would be more than happy to set you up with my go-to lender. All you need to do is send an email to info@clarityodd.com and I will connect you. I want you to save that list of answers that you wrote down. And when you are ready to jump on that one-on-one call with me, share your answers with me so that I can get a good idea of what you're looking for in your next home. These questions are going to help bring you some clarity in this process. I just couldn't resist. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to watch this one next. Bye, friends.